welcome. The faculty, staff, and I are so happy to have this entire community come together to recognize an extraordinary milestone in O'Neill's more than 40-year history. Our school has been built and supported by several generations of people with the vision and generosity to realize how important it is for the Sand Hills region to have a strong, independent school providing our unique educational experience. From relatively humble beginnings, O'Neill has become a special school and an exceptional educational community in this outstanding area of the country. As you have all noticed, near Bradshaw Hall toward the upper school, a lovely garden has taken shape. This space was designed by Linda Acker, a parent and trustee, and built by parent Bart O'Connor, who also contributed generously to the new greenhouse. Their efforts and the donations of others were to create a space to recognize a group of individuals and foundations who completed our founder's vision from the early 1970s for the O'Neill School. This area will be called the Landmark Garden in honor of the group who, as we announced in September, made the O'Neill campus complete and fully in possession of the school. This group led the effort to reach this goal with their resolve, generosity, and unfailing commitment to O'Neill. Today we gather to thank them. Believing in something and being fully committed to it, as the Landmark Society has been to O'Neill, is a lesson we all need to consider. A few years ago, I met Jacqueline Novogratz, the founder of the Acumen Fund. Her 2009 book entitled The Blue Sweater, and its story of her journey from an international banker to a social entrepreneur and founder of the Acumen Fund, which provides critical goods and services to people in need. In her book, she describes how in high school she was personally moved by the genocide in Africa and decided to donate as much as she could, including her favorite blue sweater. Demonstrating how interconnected our world has become, years later, she met a boy in Rwanda wearing the exact same sweater with her name in it. He too loved the sweater, and for him it was one of his few possessions. Her small gesture years before had helped this boy in a very fundamental way. Novogratz says, quote, "Each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and it's the total of all those acts that history will be written," end quote. We all need to recognize that generosity and caring deeply about things that are important result in real, positive outcomes. The Landmark Society believes in the O'Neill School, and their extraordinary commitment has allowed the school to fully complete the campus plan for us and for generations to come to fully utilize and appreciate it. So would you please join me in thanking the members of the Landmark Society who are present today. George Casey, James Taylor, and Sophia Renner will read passages from each division commemorating the occasion, and then Dr. Mullock will read from the Landmark Society talks.
Things are accomplished in the world by people who care. Look around and we see a wonderful O'Neill School providing for our future and the future of many students to follow. I use a quote from Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Thank you for caring and giving to the future of students for years to come.
The raising of extraordinarily large sums of money, given voluntarily and freely by millions of fellow Americans, is a unique American tradition. Philanthropy, charity, giving voluntarily and freely. Call it what you like, but it is truly a jewel of an American tradition. Thank you all for your help in making O'Neill a jewel of our community.
This quote is by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and the quote says, "The future belongs to those who give the children reason for hope." Thank you for your generosity and for giving all of us reason for hope.
Okay, so as you go by the Landmark Society Garden, there are two plaques at the entrance. The plaque on the right is a quotation, and I'm going to read the quotation that's on the plaque on the right. It says, "The Board of Trustees gratefully acknowledges the extraordinary gifts of the following O'Neill supporters. May their leadership inspire the school and wider community for years to come." And the plaque on the left lists the 22 members of the Landmark Society. Those members are as follows: Jeff and Linda Acker, Robert and Elaine Bailey, the Stephen and Susan Baldelli Family Trust, Stan and Jean Bradshaw, the C. Lewis Mayer Family Foundation, F. Farrell Collins Jr., MD, Paul and Heidi Dent, Vin and Elizabeth Dozier, Paul Fulton, Denise and Michael Gutschmidt, Chip and Don Hasty, Andy and Mary Henry, Lee and Terry Howell, the Golden Pearl Foundation, Steve and Roberta King, Stephen Lader, Brian and Connie McMurray, Stuart Mills and Helen Probst Mills, Kimberly and John H. Dawes, Anne and Ted Dawes, Don and Laurie Trexler, and Jim Van Camp. Let's give them a big round of applause. And now I'd like to invite Stuart Mills, the chairman of the Board of Trustees and a member of the Landmark Society, to the podium.
Thanks, Jay. I can't tell you how much I've looked forward to this day and how hard we've all worked together to get to this point. This event was the brainchild of the administration and the faculty of the school. I think it's really wonderful for us to celebrate our successes, large and small, at the school. As things go, this is a pretty large one, and I think it's great to be here with the whole school community together. And I know everybody who's a member of the Board of Trustees or in the Legacy Group is thrilled that you recognize us in this way. I think it's human nature for us all to, at least a little bit, like to be recognized for the particular talents and time and treasure that we contribute to the institutions like the O'Neill School, which we hold near and dear. And I don't think that's wanting to be recognized as such a bad thing, because when you recognize the people who support this school, I think you are telling them that you know them, you recognize what they're doing for the school, and it's really a heartwarming exercise. And I think that the school should spend, as it already does, much of its time celebrating the particular and individual treasure and talent and time that students, faculty, administrative staff, trustees, parents, everybody who's involved in the school. I think it's great to be an institution that magnifies the gifts of the people who are involved in the school and shores up, does not exaggerate, but shores up the soft spots and the weaknesses so that we can work together as a team. Because of the very deep financial recession which this country and other countries have suffered over the last several years, which fortunately we now seem to be exiting, our fine school, like most other institutions in this community, suffered over the last several years, and it put a significant amount of stress on the school. But I am pleased to say that we as a community have come out of that stressful period of time much, much stronger than we were before we'd even thought that there was a recession. I think we have a lot to be proud of. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees, my fellow trustees, for their leadership during this difficult time. I'd like to thank the Landmark Society for their gifts, not just gifts of treasure, but a tremendous amount of grace, grit, and stick-with-itness was evident in our collective effort to make sure that this school has a very long and very bright future. So I'd like to thank all of those people. And on behalf of the entire 18-member strong Board of Trustees of the O'Neill School, I'd like to thank our fine faculty and the administration for providing a superior education to our students during good times and bad. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have something for you. This is, take a look. So what you see here, to my right, is an aerial photograph of our school taken in October of last year. It's very recent, it's got the greenhouse, the painted tennis courts, everything. So it shows our beautiful, complete campus with all the buildings and outdoor facilities. We have 23 framed copies of this photograph. The faculty and staff of the O'Neill School have signed every one of them. Every one of these copies is an original. To show their gratitude, the faculty and staff would like to present one of these photographs to each member of the Landmark Society. Immediately following this ceremony, I request that the members of the Landmark Society please stop by the atrium in Bradshaw Hall, where your copies are waiting for you, and also can join the reception. Thank you. And now John will end the ceremony.
Thank you all. When we made the announcement to the faculty and staff, not everyone could be present, but it was really very touching and very moving, and that was actually the spark where we decided we needed to bring the entire community together to say thank you and to recognize this significant event. Directly following this, in Bradshaw Hall in the atrium is a reception for faculty as soon as students have been dismissed, all the Landmark Society trustees and guests who are here, and as Dr. Jaywant said, the pictures will be available there for you to pick up as well. It's a small token to say thank you for what has happened, but to see the entire campus and knowing that it's reached completion, we hope will be meaningful for everyone. So once again, let's join in thanking the Landmark Group. Obviously, the significance is not lost on those of us who are older and those of us who are much, much younger. Students, obviously, you've been walking by the garden and you've seen that it's been surrounded by tape and whatnot. Now it's completely open. It's made for sitting and using, enjoying, studying, I would recommend, and resting. So you're all welcome to enter there anytime. I think to dismiss, could we start with letting the lower school leave first and any land